What's going on, guys? Andy here, Cut and Clean Lawn Care. It's a beautiful day. Me and JT are getting ready to head out and get the day started on some mowing. I did a bunch of stuff to the Gravely 52 this morning. It's been a long time since I went through the deck. So I went through the deck, I got everything fine, and I got it raised up a quarter so it's pitched better, and I cut my side yard and it's cutting a lot better than it has been, because that's one of the things I always neglect. Throughout the year with all the bouncing and stuff we do with all the hills and stuff, that deck can get out of whack real fast. So we got it all lined back up. Hopefully it's ready to cut. But one of the things he's brought up before that I've never talked about to you guys, and I'm going to right now, there was a few days ago in the garage, JT was asking why I never use this trimmer. There's one trimmer that sits in there in the garage that doesn't get used. He's like, why don't you ever use that? Let's get into it. So guys, basically in my business, I run the STIHL FS94R. They are my by far favorite trimmer, STIHL FS94R. And the FC91 is the edger I take with me. The main reasons I like these trimmers, I don't know, man. I really don't have a big way to explain it. They're light, they got plenty of power for what I do. Before, I was always using the 100RX, which is also a really good trimmer in its own heart, but it's hard to beat the two-stroke. And these have some features that I don't use a ton, like the cruise control little thumb cogwheel, whatever you want to call it, to where you can set it down if you want it at half throttle or full throttle or quarter throttle. You can set it all up that way and it's fine. I don't use that feature a ton, but it is on there. But as far as for me and my business, the STIHL FS94R has become one of my favorite trimmers to use. And this right here in all its glory is the STIHL FS240R. I've had a lot of people tell me this is the trimmer that they use in their business. And don't get me wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong with the STIHL FS240R. It's a really good trimmer. It works really well. Trust me, it has more power than I know what to do with. It's got a pretty large gas tank reservoir, so you could probably trim with this all day. But it is very, very heavy. I would say almost 3 to 4 pounds heavier than the 94R. And this trimmer doesn't just sit. I do use this trimmer when there's certain properties I have to do where I had to clear big areas that I can't use the mower on, drainage ditches. This thing has so much power, you can whip through anything, dude. Thick stalks. I can see people using this with the attachments that it has. I just don't use that stuff in my business. I, for the most part, am a solo owner operator. JT's been helping me for the last month or so. You guys know that. So for me, simplicity and less fatigue at the end of the day is going to go a long way. So when I'm out mowing 16, 17, 18 properties a day, less weight, less taxing on my body. So when I get closer to that last property, I'm not as worn out. The couple times I tried using the 240R in a full day, I noticed it. Trust me, it's something I'm sure you can get used to, but at the moment, I notice it. I notice the weight, I notice the power difference, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I'll tell you what, even back in the 100RX days, when I used to use I think it was a 90 or 70, when stuff hits you, it hits you a lot harder. And that's the same thing with this thing. It's got a ton of power, so when it grabs a hold of a rock or a piece of mulch and it hits you with it hits you with it pretty hard. So yeah, guys, not a big, long, drawn-out conversation on the two, and I will be doing a full review on this eventually. I like to use stuff for a while before I do a review on it, and I've had quite a few days where I've actually used this trimmer. As you can see, it's good. So yeah, I will be doing a review on this towards the end of the year, which is coming up soon, so in the next month or so. We'll be talking about this thing. But as far as everyday use in my business, I've had a couple people that say they use that every day, wanted to know what I thought of it, why I'm not using it, and that's really pretty much my only reason. As a solo owner operator, the extra 4 pounds less of weight I can deal with in a day on the trimmer. And like I'm saying, the power curve for daily lawn maintenance, trimming, you know, around properties, around trees for your weekly maintenance, you don't need all that power. To me, the 94R works fantastic. And like I said, I'm not knocking the 240R in any way. It serves its purpose. If there's any properties I pick up that are super overgrown, drainage ditches, thick stalks of weeds, things like that, this guy right here is coming with me, and that job's gonna get taken care of with no problem. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Just answering your questions on what I thought of it, and that's pretty much what I think of it. I think of it as a purposeful piece of stick equipment. I can't use it on a daily basis. It's just too heavy and kind of drags me down throughout the day. A big part of that is probably because I'm used to the 94R. I'm sure I could use this for, you know, a month straight and be completely used to it and be able to run a whole fleet of them. But at the moment, it just doesn't work for me. I like having the little bit lighter trimmer. It just makes it less taxing on my body throughout the day. That's pretty much all I gotta say for you guys' questions on that. So there you go, guys. Just a quick run through on that piece of equipment. Like I said, there will be a review coming soon. Man, I love my 94Rs. They've always worked great for me, man. They're good machines. That 240 is good too, just like I said, just a little heavy, man. That's all it is. A little bit too much power for weekly maintenance and a little too heavy. And I'll be honest, the BR800 kind of gets that way too. It's awesome for what it is, man. This thing will destroy leaves and push them. But when it comes to that day-to-day use, it gets kind of heavy and a little overpowering for what it is. But it still works good, so I'm hard to judge on that one. But yeah, guys, that's about it. Just wanted to talk on that because I had a couple questions on it. Like always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I got to get to work. There's yards that need to be mowed, and we kind of need to mow them, don't we?
Yeah, I like turtles.
We'll see you guys in the next one.